I'm sure he'll have harder finishes, but give full credit to the way that he's able to turn that ball into the back of the net. And ultimately, it didn't really matter how it was going to happen. The old cliche, it could have come in off his backside, and it would have been a really big goal for him, because strikers are judged on goals. George Hirst probably is judged on goals less than quite a few strikers because of what he can do in a McKenna team, off the ball, dropping deep, linking play, holding it up, etc., etc. But it's still important, and he's missed too many chances this year. So, really good to see him turn that one into the back of the net. Hopefully, again, can be the start of kicking on and doing a little bit more. Could have had a hat-trick in this game with the opportunities that he had, because I think he had at least one really big one on top of that, and I think another one towards the end of the match as well.
Yeah, I think he got a bit too eager with that shot he had outside the box. I think he had too much confidence after scoring, and he just blasted it over. And I think you knew he was just so frustrated himself. But sometimes when you've scored one, you get a bit too eager when you get a ball in a good position. But yeah, I'm sure, Stu, big weight lifted for George to get that goal after this run of form.
Yeah, first in 10, but he's actually only started 5 of those games, which I think is important to note. AJ said earlier that he didn't realise, maybe give the credit to the first goal at the time. I would probably fall into that bracket for this second one. I sort of talked about it going in off his stomach, and then I watched it back, and it's actually probably more his chest, and he actually does sort of open up his body and angle the ball in. So I'll give him some credit for that one. I wasn't the only one. Jacob Greaves talked afterwards about, I don't think he knew anything about him, and it just hit him and went in. Hopefully it can be a confidence booster for him. Again, like Sindra, I'm not going to sit here and say he's cracked it now, he's turned a corner. As you boys have pointed out, he snatched at a couple afterwards. Still work to do. Like Sindra, I don't think he's, when you're naming your strongest 11, if such one exists at the moment, I don't think either of them are in it at the moment. But that striker's currency are goals, and he needed one, didn't he? So, what was that, 7 for the season now? Hopefully he can kick on again.
Hopefully he can get to double figures. And one thing, AJ, I want to talk about is we spoke about at the start of the pod about the atmosphere and the away end. One thing I loved as well, that there's fans getting behind players, especially Hirst when he came on singing his name on number 9 Hirst and stuff like that. That was a nice moment I'm sure for George. I know some players, when they run on the pitch, sometimes they try to ignore the sounds, but I'm sure he probably had a moment where he was like, that must have been nice for him.
Yeah, 2 loudest player chants of the night. Let's go 3. One was Walton after the save, and then the others were O'Shea off the back of an absolutely terrible performance at Wrexham, and Hirst off the back of a really difficult run of form. And it shows as well, look, social media and things like that, as we've touched upon in previous pods, can be a bit of a vacuum, can't it? But when you go to people who are in the away ends, and there's a lot of support for these guys, no matter what, and it feels like a game is a game, and then you can draw a line under it and it will be the past. And if a player has a tough game, this is a fan base that will get behind them, even though sometimes on the surface and sometimes what you read, it might not be that way. And this was the perfect example of that, I think, not just for Hirst, but for other players as well. Hirst probably is the headline one in that regard, because when he was warming up at the start of the game, he was a substitute, and he was getting chance from the away end leading up to the game. Obviously, he gets all the chance as he comes on and when he scores the goal. And then one of my favourite bits as well is that with Town fans filtering out of the ground, some stay in, of course, a little bit longer. And he went out to do his cool-down exercises, which all substitutes have to do, and whether they're used or not. And he was the first one out to do his exercises, and the fans who stayed behind there made sure to give him another rendition of that chant as they exited, which I think was massively appreciated by Hirst, someone that I think is a confidence striker as well. I hope can get a lot of confidence from having that support. Get behind the players, damn it, because this is sometimes what you get the payoff, isn't it? That's a perfect example.